All right, Nick. We'll go on to you, but you said you had the Tampa Bay goaltenders for me.
They've got 3 goaltenders still on their roster right now. Jonas Johansson, who's 28, 6'5", 220. Vasilevsky, who's 29, 6'4", 220. They're pretty high on this Jonas kid, kind of learning a little bit. And then Matt Tompkins, who, is 29, 6'3", 194. But again, none of those names kind of jump out at you as, hey, this is a good backup goalie, since none of us
Goalie's by committee until Vass comes back.
Correct.
Good luck. I might take Tampa Bay out of my playoffs after hearing those
there
names.
You go. I'm worried about it. I think they're going to do okay, but I have a.
They got the offense. Yeah,
their goaltending is going to be an issue, and if they don't get off to a good start, they're in trouble.
So we're gonna move on to the Central Division, because the Pacific Division is going to be one of those interesting divisions, I think, this year. There's just so much talent with some of those teams. Let's save that for last. So this was the hardest one for me. You call me a homer, you call me a rube, and everything else about Minnesota. But I will tell you, at the end of the year, it's going to mirror the end of last year. Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas are going to be fighting it out by 1 point from first to third. And that's the only teams I have making the playoffs. So if I had to, and you're going to twist my arm to put them in order, I'm going to have to agree with you. Dallas Stars, Avalanche, and Wild. Wild's finishing third.
So you're like me.
Yep.
That's exactly what I got. That's for Nick.
And that's only because, Dallas is a good team, as much as I hate them. Colorado, they're a good team, and I hate them even more. But the best part of all of this is St. Louis is nowhere near the playoffs, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I'll finish going through. So I've got Winnipeg finishing at 4th, just missing the playoffs, and that's sad because I think we're building a rivalry with Winnipeg, because it's only a 6-hour drive from Winnipeg to the cities. So we have a lot of fans come back and forth for both games, but they just don't have the players, and it's hard. So I would love to see that rivalry continue and get bigger, and I think it will over time, but it's just they're not making it. I got Nashville finishing in 5th, the Blues 6th, Coyotes finishing in 7th, because I actually believe that they're going to take a huge step this year. But there's still a lot of question marks on.
That's a big step, staying in the same spot.
Hey,
from 8th to 7th.
Hey, it's a big step, and I mean point wise, because in the bottom, even though I'm not as high as a jockstrap sniffer as everybody else is, Connor Bedard, he is going to elevate that scoring for end games for Chicago. So I think this division is going to have some good teams, just not good enough.
And just not yet.
Just not yet. So I got Chicago finishing last, and we'll talk about the award winners later. But that's what I got. It breaks my heart, but I would love to put the Wild at number 1, but I could put them at 1, 2, or 3, and be reasonable. So I think it's going to be a great division to watch, and I'm super excited that I get to watch a lot of these games live at home. So
yeah, can't wait to get your perspective there at what is it? The Energy.
The XL Energy Center.
XL Energy Center. Yeah, I'd love to come out and visit you, Nick.
I told you, open door.
Yeah, Storky sent. By the way, Stork, I love your Hockey Night in Canada jersey there, sweater.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Thing is awesome.
I need you to send me your hat, and I can have a nice match, right?
Yeah, there you go. Well, I got that hat up your way. Oh, we lost Storky. I guess that sweater, or no, we lost.
No, we lost Nick.
The Colonel, but go ahead. The show goes on. Nick will come back. He probably went to go use the head or something.
Well, unlike you guys, I've got this division finishing with 5 playoff teams.
Wow.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
You guys have 3 in each. I have 5 in this division. And I'll start off with Colorado. And like Nick said, you can pick the top 3 there, and you never know which one's going to win the division. But I've chosen Colorado to win the division. I've taken Dallas in 2nd and Minnesota in 3rd. And like Nick said, I agree with him about that. I think it's going to be a 3-team race for pretty much all the season. I don't know who's going to come out on top, but I'm guessing Colorado will. I think all 3 teams are just stacked and ready to go, solid, and they're all healthy right now, as far as I know. And I think all 3 of them are going to get off to really good starts and run away with that division all by themselves. In 4th place, I've got the Nashville Predators finishing 4th and making a wild card spot. And I know Jimmy's not so high on the Predators, but
well, I mean, I was sniffing that glue last year, buddy, and
apparently it moved up north to Canada, and I'm sniffing some of that glue, and I'm putting Nashville in there.
They're moving in the right direction.
I think so. Now, over in the Atlantic, I took Buffalo as the kind of surprise team that's going to make the playoffs. Where you get a load of this one? In 5th place in the Central, I've got the Arizona Coyotes. I think they're going to squeak into a wild card spot. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people with some solid play. I like the young team, and I think they're going to gel really nice. You're gonna. I want you to bookmark this, Jimmy. I want you to bookmark this. You're gonna say, "Wow, Storky, you were right on that." I remember you saying that way back in October. Arizona finishes 5th, gets that last wild card spot, but it's going to be a battle. I mean, they're not all in by themselves. In 6th place, I got St. Louis. I think that's another team that's kind of on the bubble for a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to make it. That's why I picked Arizona over top of them, because I think St. Louis is a bit of a question mark right now in a few positions. In 7th place, I got Winnipeg, which is another team that I think's on the way down. They're another team that's a big mess. Nobody wants to be there. They got guys that want to be captain, but they don't want to play there. Who knows what's going on in Winnipeg? They got some really good players in Winnipeg, but I don't think any of them are want to even be in Winnipeg, and that's sad. But that's just the way it is, and I think it's going to start affecting them. So they're going to finish in 7th, just like you got them, Jimmy. And 8th place, Chicago. The fans are going to go crazy for Bedard, but the Hawks just don't have the team. It's going to be a growing period for this team. I think Bedard will put them back in the playoffs one season when they start putting. I mean, they've got the money in Chicago. I think there's going to be some guys, free agents, eventually in the next 2 or 3 years that would love to play with this guy, and you'll probably see Chicago start to move up and spend that money again. But is that more glue? Is that right? I didn't say this year. I think they're going to finish 8th this year. But in the next 3 or 4 years, Chicago will be back up at the top again. What do you think about that, Nick? Come on.
Nick, this guy's snipping so much glue right now. It's unbelievable. Like, go, I love it, Stork.
Watch it. Arizona finishes 5th. Buffalo finishes 3rd in the Atlantic, and both teams make the playoffs.
I mean, Stork had better predictions last year. He had 19 points in our. He had 19 of these things were correct. Nick, you had 17, and I was in last with 15. So I mean, I'm making fun of you right now.
Well, so there you go.
But
who's got the glue now?
I mean, that was me last year. I've come kind of I don't know, I've come back to reality, but go ahead.
You really
Nick.
think Nashville's that bad?
No, I think he's just mad that they cost him so many point spots last year.
Is that what it is? You got a boner for them now?
Well, I mean the goaltending. I love goaltending, and Roman Josi, Saros. They definitely have some. They're gonna have to depend on some young talent to put the puck in the net, because if you remember, Duchesne's not there anymore. Johansson went to Colorado. They got a lot of young guys.
Johansson didn't do anything anyway. He can't score. Yeah.
I think he's
can't stay on the ice long enough. All he did was get injured last year and the year before.
Yeah.
And it's affected him. He's not the same player that he came out. He was the first 2 years. He was a solid playmaker, but I don't think they're going to miss him at all.
Well, you see mine right here. I definitely am a believer in Dallas to winning that division title. I got them going to the conference finals. They were in the conference finals last year before they got kind of embarrassed by Vegas. Jake Ottinger wasn't the same there. Jake Ottinger needs to not start as many games in the regular season. He needs to stay healthy. Give him a nice workload. Scott Wedgwood, I think, still with him, right?
Yes.
Give him a little bit more starts. Keep Ottinger fresh. I think Ottinger will have a great postseason. Like Nick said, them in Colorado, they're going to finish right there. It's just going to be who's going to go that extra mile for the division title. I like Colorado to bounce back a lot this year. McKinnon's going to be pissed off. I'm a big believer in Ryan Johansson. They also got, if you remember, Jonathan Drouin. He could be the comeback player of the year. Him and Jonathan Drouin. He played with McKinnon in junior.
Where's that glue?
I know, right here, buddy. But like
Jonathan Drouin.
This is probably his last hurrah. If he can't make it work here, because he's been to several places, Montreal and Tampa Bay come to mind. Yeah, it could be Dunsky for him, but I like Colorado. I don't like their goaltending as much as I like Dallas's. I think it'll be 1-2 punch. I love Minnesota. This will be the last year, Nick, of your salary cap jail, from what I understand. I just don't think it's their year yet, but they will play tough. A healthy Eriksson Ek will only help. Like you said, the signings of Zuccarello, Foligno. I still think Kirill is going to have a great year. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy.
Boldy.
Matt Boldy. That's a great. He was a 30-goal scorer last year.
What is he, 22 or something?
Yeah, he's a real young kid.
I mean, the more you talk about him, the more I want to put him back a little higher.
I couldn't wait to draft Boldy. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, okay. Stork was the guy that got him. I couldn't remember. I had him last year.
Our lines are just ridiculous. I mean, there is you could pull up anybody, and I think Dean Evison, I was a big Mike Yeo guy. I thought he did a great job here in Minnesota, but Dino has done a phenomenal job, and Billy Guerin, as the GM, has drafted and signed players and gone out and got them.
Yeah, they're solid.
He said it the best. I don't have to call Iowa and say, hey, I want this position. I can say, hey, I want this guy, and he could fill any of those positions. So,
and look at those uniforms. Come on.
Oh, gorgeous.
Well, Nick, all right, here's not the problem. They can compete. The problem is they always have that war in the first round, and can they get out of it? If they can get out of it, bets are off. But,
stay healthy. They'll challenge for first.
The way we've got it in our playoffs, they're either going to get Colorado or Minnesota or Dallas guys in, and you know how that went. These previous, hey,
I don't want to even. We could spend another hour and a half talking about the Dallas Wild series and how the refs and part of the decisions that were made and part of the throwing Foligno off the ice before he even done anything just to stop us from being physical was ridiculous.
A lot of controversy.
That was ridiculous.
That was last year, Nick. A fresh year. I'll speed up mine real quick. I do believe in the Coyotes and improving. I mean, you can see how I'm sniffing the glue here, but they're not going to make the playoffs start. And I also have St. Louis taking a step back. I'm not sold on Bennington. The Hofer kid, though, if he can maybe grab that spot, Bennington is done. I think that guy's a sideshow phony. I think he's a clown. The more they stick with this guy,
he's a hothead.
Yeah, they did pick up Kevin Hayes, but I don't think Kevin Hayes is going to help him. Jake Verana, if he can stay mentally, he's a great player. I just St. Louis has to prove it to me again. They do have some good players. I just I don't know.
Kyrou and Thomas.
I got to see it. I have them out. Nashville, as you can see, took a Warrior spin off of my predictions. I do think they're gonna be good. They made. I like what they did in the offseason, unloading Johansson. And I know I talked how I like Johansson with the Avalanche, but they had to get rid of guys like Duchesne and stuff. But they're gonna have to get their young guys to do anything offensively for me to think they're gonna make the playoffs. I still like Saros, and Lankinen, I guess, is their other goal. I just don't think they're going to have enough. Yossi's awesome. He was a little banged up last year, but Nashville's not making it. Winnipeg, man, Nick believes in them. I think they're going to get rid of Hellebuck. I think they're going to get rid of Scheifele. I don't know how.
It'll be a garage sale in February.
Nobody wants to be there, from what I hear. They don't want to resign. And Kyle
garage
Connor,
sale in February.
He's a great player. I think Winnipeg's going to be on the shits, and the whole reason they're not going to finish last is because Chicago. Bedard's going to be exciting. He's going to put butts in seats, but it's going to be a long season for that youngster. I just don't believe in anything. I was a little long-winded. Nick, lead us off with the Pacific, buddy. By the way, yeah, only 3 playoff teams for me. Dallas, Colorado, and Minnesota. I think those are the 3 teams, the class. But yeah, like Stork though, watch out for Arizona. I think they're going to be exciting. They're going to be fun to watch. They're actually going to be a team I want to watch.
And when have we ever said that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Nobody's ever said that.
And
watch out for Arizona, man.
Look at Logan Cooley.
I think they're going to surprise some people.
Logan Cooley, throw him in the hat for Rookie of the Year, as well as a Dylan Gunther. If they are to do anything, those guys will help those guys out. But Nick,
before we move to the Pacific, I do got to mention Vizmelka, the goalie out of Arizona, won me a lot of games last year in fantasy, and it just seemed like he was very streaky, where he would win 8, 9 in a row and then lose 3 or 4.
If he gets some defense,
so if he gets some defense and if he gets some more experience, I think they're going to have a young, pretty good goaltender. So, yep, I agree, but I don't have him as high as you guys do, obviously. But let's go ahead and move on to the Pacific. This is the one I have 5 teams coming out of. This is the biggest division that I got teams coming out of, and it's going to be very comparable. It's very comparable.
You copied me.
Very comparable to what the mailman says. Yeah. However, it is not the same.
Put the glue up towards Nick's hand so he can grab it.
What was that? Was it from Airplane? I can't remember that line.
I don't know.
Something about sniffing glue. Crap, my movies suck. My memory. Anyways, Nick, go ahead.
Dude, I was going to let you keep going just to prove the point.
I know. I'm not going to call you Shirley either.
Surely you won't.
Surely you just.
Don't call me Shirley. In number 1, I have the Vegas Golden Knights taking that division again. I think it's going to be a 2-pony race. I know that my 3rd place is pretty high up, and I obviously got 5 teams up, but when it comes to the top, it's going to be the Knights and the Oilers, and they're going to run away with it pretty early. The Oilers, you just can't. The amount of points and offense that they put up is just ridiculous. So I got the Knights, followed, like I was just talking about very shortly, by the Connor McJesus-led Oilers. 3rd place, I got the Kings. I wasn't very high on them last year. There's plenty of shows you can go back and hear me quoting that, I wasn't a big fan, and Mr. Mailman set me straight, and watching them play throughout the playoffs and throughout the end of the season kind of made me a believer. So I got the LA Kings finishing at 3rd. And Tim, you can suck it. The Seattle Kraken will make the wild card at number 4, but just barely.
Wow.
And the only reason they're making it is because the Coyotes, and well, not even the Coyotes, because everybody else in the Central didn't make it. So good job. No, I'm just kidding. I think they're a great young team, and watching them play was exciting last year. There's another one of those teams you want to talk about, the Coyotes. Watching the Kraken play is like, you want to go out and watch them.
Tim's got a 10-game plan to see the Kraken this year. I know he's going to see Bedard and Ovi, so hopefully I can. Well, I'm going to plan on going to see Ovi anyways. But go ahead, Nick.
Yep.
Kraken are exciting.
So I got Kraken at number 4. Number 5, a team that I don't know if a lot of people remember, but it was a toss-up. I had some serious druthers with this between 2 Canadian teams.
Same.
But I think that just one is shooing to be that better. And I agree with Jimmy. The second wildcard team is the Vancouver Canucks. I think it could be Calgary. I think they're an upcoming great young team. But again, the Canucks just have that
I think
pedigree already.
Rick Tockett's going to have this team going in the right direction, and Quinn Hughes is a captain. That's going to be awesome. But Nick, go ahead.
So followed in 6th place Calgary, 7th the Ducks, and I got no respect. Screw those San Jose Sharks and their pile of crap ice that more players get injured on skating because they don't know how to take care of a sheet of ice, period. So that's what I got.
Nick, real quick, who do you got being worse, San Jose or Chicago or Montreal, Philly? I think San Jose is the worst. I think San Jose is
4 pretty bad teams.
San Jose is going to have that. Well, I mean, they're not going to have the number 1 pick. They're going to have a chance to get. I think San Jose is going to be.
I'm gonna say the Canadians.
All right, you'll see that. I'll put this down.
Montreal. As the worst, you mean?
Yeah,
as the worst team.
I've got San Jose as be the worst.
I think when they got rid of Burns and they started, fire selling their players off, trying to rebuild, I think they went a little bit too heavy, too fast.
Storky, who do you have as the worst team? Before we go back to Nick.
I think the Flyers are going to be the worst team.
Flyers, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
I mean, it's a close race with the Canadians, the Flyers, the Hawks, and the Sharks. I think they're all a mess, but the Flyers, I don't know what they're doing there, so I think they're going to be the worst team.
Yeah.
I totally I don't mind Nick's standings. I think Vegas is definitely going to be a threat. I can't hate on Nick's standings at all, really. I actually kind of like his.
Where do you have Anaheim?
He's got them right above San Jose. They're pretty bad. They're not making the playoffs.
No. And then I'll throw out my conference kind of predictions. I think that the Final Four is going to be.
Oh, real quick, we need your President's Trophy winner.
Yeah, I want to say.
I'll help you out here real quick. You have Dallas winning the division, Vegas winning the division, Toronto winning the division, and the Devils winning the division. So it has to be one of those 4 teams.
Yeah, I got the Devils. I think the Devils, and that's what I was going to say. I think the Devils are going to put some points up, and I think it's going to be
interesting.
It's going to be an interesting game. Right? I mean, the Metro division. I mean, I hate to say it this way because I know it's your bread and butter there, Jimmy, but there's so many winnable teams interconference that it's hard to get a President's Trophy Cup winner out of the West because there's just so many teams you have to play that are just super good.
Yeah.
So and then in the Stanley Cup.
Wait, your conference finals.
My conference finals.
Your final four.
I got the Minnesota Wild and LA Kings.
Homer.
Huh? It was hard because I had Dallas and the Wild playing each other in round 2.
That's gonna be tough.
Because I think Minnesota would beat Colorado, and it's just going to fit that way. And I think Minnesota's going to get redemption against Dallas, and they're going to play super hard, and then they're going to make it to the finals against LA. And that's kind of where I think they might fall apart a little bit. And then my notes decided in the East, I have. You're going to love this. I got the Leafs and the Devils. And in Sir Stanley's Cup for the finals. This is going to sound bad, and it's not because it's team. I got Toronto and the Wild in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh, I would love it. Wouldn't that make for a great show?
It would. But Toronto would lose horribly, so I have the Wild winning.
I hope that happens, man. I'll take it.
So predictable, guys. But that's 2 years in a row for Nick.
I will say it was a toss-up because Dallas is a really good team, and I could see Dallas going all the way too, and I could see it pretty easily. But I can't root for him, Jimmy. I'm not like you. I can't.
Oh, I mean. I want the Capitals to win the Stanley Cup, but I'm going to tell you guys right now. I mean, as you can see,
it's not.
I like your picks more than I did last year. You had the Rangers in a while last year. A lot of people were high on the Rangers. I was never a believer. I knew they were going to get bounced in that first round. But anyways, Nick, Minnesota Wild is the Stanley Cup champs. Maybe one time this will work.
I need
buddy.
one. I need one.
Yeah.
Minnesota needs one.
Well, I like it. Once again, his President's Cup champs will be the New Jersey Devils, and you know what? That's an interesting pick. All right, Storky, you're Pacific, buddy.
Well, mine's pretty simple. You got three teams making the playoffs, and all three of those teams are going to run away with the division. I got Edmonton finishing first. I think they're going to win the division. I see a big race between Vegas, who I have at second, and the LA Kings in third. Now, that order could change, but I think that's going to be the top three at the end of the season. And nobody else in this division I see even coming close to those three teams. I've got Calgary finishing fourth, but way out of that division. I got Seattle sitting in fifth place.
Wow. Tim's not going to like you, Stork. He loves you.
Sorry. I didn't say they were going to have a horrible season. I just don't think they're going to have enough to make the playoffs again this year. I think they're going to be a little short, and I think they'll be in a race with Calgary and the Vancouver Canucks, who I have in sixth place. So I think those three teams are going to be very close in the standings at the end of the year. And then way down in the nightmare of this division is San Jose and then Anaheim. I see
you have the Sharks.
You got them Anaheim, San Jose. I've got it San Jose and Anaheim. I think they're both going to be bad, so it's hard to really tell which one's going to be the worst. I don't like what either of those teams got right now.
Well, neither one of them are going to defend. I guess Anaheim, the thing they've got going for them is they still have Gibson, John Gibson, but he could be another hell of a.
He's going to be another one that gets traded in February.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, because Gibson wants out. I think he wanted out last year. I think he asked for a trade, from what I understand, and they refused to give him up, or just because they weren't getting the offers they wanted for him. But I believe, I'm not sure, I have to look it up, but I think Gibson's a free agent at the end of this year or next year. I'm not sure which one, but you can count on that guy leaving, which is all that's going to leave them really is Terry and Zegras. And they're not going to be able to go far with just those guys, because who else do they got, really, you know?
Well, they got McTavish, a lot of young guys.
They got some young guys, but, once they lose Gibson and that, they're in trouble. That's the way I look at it. And, of course, San Jose, same thing. I don't know what's going on there. They're just one of those bad teams. We've got 5 or 6 really bad teams coming up this season, and we're going to see it in the standings how bad they really are. And I think Anaheim and San Jose are going to be in that mix.
San Jose is going to be the worst team in the league, but that's
all right. So you want my predictions now?
Yeah, your President's Trophy winner.
Okay, my President Trophy winner is the Carolina Hurricane. I think they're going to be the top team as far as points are. No, a conference final. Same as Nick. I got Toronto and New Jersey finishing in the conference final. I've also got Edmonton and Dallas are going to come out of the West. Stanley Cup Finals. This I guess you can call this a homer, because I think you guys know what's going to happen here. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup Final. And not to say you guys, but America's going to lose their fucking minds. Oh, sorry, I said that out loud. They're going to lose their minds. They're going to turn off the TV because they don't want to see Toronto at Edmonton. Bettman's going to have a heart attack and quit.
Canada. Stork's going to have a mini boner.
He doesn't want Canadian teams in the finals either. but it's going to be Toronto and Edmonton.
Oh, yeah.
And my Maple Leafs are going to end a 55-year drought and win the Stanley Cup in the 2020. I'm sorry, the 23-24 season. Maple Leafs all the way.
Oh,
I would
Canada, our home and native
I've never done this before. First time
since 1993.
2 Canadian teams in the finals.
Sparky, I mean, you said America would hate it. I would actually love it. That would be an entertaining.
I think America would love it too.
I think so too.
Some of the people
TNT would love it.
Go crazy if it was.
Well, we're sick of holding on to it. I mean, it's hard to keep that cup in the United States for so long. It's To
be honest, that whole.
I think they're due.
The whole thing about a Canadian team.
I think a Canadian team is due to win a Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah.
So it might as well be my Leafs.
So is a Minnesota team.
All right, boys. Real quick, my Pacific. I mean, you've been seeing it all night. I do have Edmonton winning the division. I just think they're a regular season team, and they're gonna, once again, unless they can get a goaltender. I don't believe in Campbell, and I don't believe in Skinner. That's always going to be their debacle. They've got some great defense that can play on the power play. Bouchard and Nurse. Ekholm, I guess, was a great addition. I don't know. Is there any other free agents that can help them out? I got to see what they do. As far as the playoffs, they need to keep that puck out of their net. They're not going to outscore teams in the playoffs. That's why Vegas beat them. And then you question me, why is LA ahead of Vegas? I think Vegas is going to have the targets on the back, the Stanley Cup champs. I think they're going to weather the storm.
Party hangover.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably get a Mark Stone injury like always, and he'll be out forever. They'll have they have good depth though. They have a great. I mean, I have no. I could see Vegas Golden Knights repeating, but I just couldn't do that.
If he gets out of October, I'll be surprised.
I mean, realistically, I was gonna be like Nick and pick Vegas to win the division again. I'm a big fan and believer in LA. Question mark goaltending. They got Cam Talbot. Nick's familiar with Minnesota. I think he's capable. And I was a believer in Copley last year.
Yeah, Copley, I think he's going to do fine.
That is their biggest question mark because offensively, they're deep down the middle as any other team. Maybe not as deep as Vegas and not as maybe as strong as Vegas defensively. But Doughty, I love the Mikey Anderson kid. There's a lot of grit on that team. At center depth, I love LA. Seattle is going to be, like I said, there's 5 teams out of the Pacific, Stork. I'm sorry. It's not going to be the Central. Seattle's getting in and Vancouver's getting in. I'm not a big fan of Vancouver, but they're going to do enough this year. Pedersen's going to sack up. I like Rick Tocchet as a coach. I think he'll straighten them out defensively. Brock Besser will play better. I'm not exactly sure all their free agents. JT Miller will play better. Look for them to squeak in. It was tough. I had to decide between them and Calgary. Calgary, I'm not sold on. I'm not familiar with their coach. It sounds like he was a great coach there in the at the AHL level.
Yeah.
Mitch Love went to Washington. I don't remember who the other guy was. I'm not a believer in Huberdeau. Backlund's their new captain. I like him. Markstrom's just a disappointment to me. I had the opportunity to get him as a fantasy goalie, and I dropped him in your league, Stork. Not a believer in that goal. Maybe the Wolf kid. He's a small guy. He's an Everett Silvertip. He's another Rookie of the Year candidate. Maybe if he can step in. I'm not a believer in Markstrom. I still think Calgary's going to miss it. And then the 2 teams we talked about at nauseum already. The Ducks are terrible, and the San Jose Sharks are terrible. Your President's Trophy winner, I hate the pick, but I picked them last year for the President's Trophy, did I not? It was either them or Oilers. It's going to be the Carolina Hurricanes. And then Hurricanes and Storks Leafs. I'm a believer in Storks Leafs. Running out of gas. They get past the second round, Nick. They just can't get past Rod, Brent, the Bod, and Carolina will beat Toronto. And I'm a big fan of Dallas. I just think LA finds that enough goaltending. I didn't even talk about their coach, Todd McClellan. He's going to be my Jack Adams Award winner this year. LA is going to beat Dallas. It's going to be Carolina, LA. LA is going to, in fact, be the team that beats Vegas in the first round. If it wasn't for LA, Vegas, I think, would repeat. LA is going to keep Vegas from doing that in the first round. And maybe we get no, John Quick went to the Rangers. Never mind on that. John Quick, if you remember, signed as a Ranger because he's from that area. That sucks. I wanted to see Quick with a Vegas to play the Kings. But the Kings survive, and they will escape because I see Edmonton just bouncing in the second round again. I think Seattle can beat them or whoever. I don't remember who the matchup I had, but Kings won't have enough, though, in the finals. It will be, I think, that young Russian kid in nets for Carolina. And I just love Carolina's defense. I think they're going to do what Vegas did. They're going to suffocate you. I think Brent Burns is going to have a great postseason. And my 2023-2024 Stanley Cup champion. I went with a safe bet this year, guys. I had them in the finals last year against Nashville, and I had Nashville beating them. This year, I got Carolina winning their second ever Stanley Cup. Yeah, so.
Hey, just
guys, those are our picks.
Throw it in your ear, Jimmy. How many President's Cup winners have won the Stanley Cup?
I think that's due to break. I think that's we haven't seen one since the 2015 Blackhawks, if I'm correct. Or
I think that was
it was one of the Blackhawk teams. We talked about that last year. We'll have to review that again before the season.
2010, I believe it was.
Was it? It was definitely a Blackhawks team, if I recall. But
yeah, they were
unstoppable. I just think that streak's going to end too. Obviously, I have y'all's President's Trophy winning teams, and you guys went with the Wild and Toronto, and I went with Carolina. Rapid fire here, though, guys. I wanted to get your predictions on a Connor Bedard over under. I believe Vegas has it at 69, but I'm going to say let's just go to 70. Who has Bedard over 70 points and who has him missing or who has him under? I'm going with the over. I'm going to say Bedard gets around 90 points on a struggling team. I think the guy could easily get 40 goals, 50 assists. He won't sniff 100 yet, but give me the over. We're going to say 70 points. I don't know what the official line is. Nick, what do you got for Bedard?
We all know where I feel about this. We've talked about it a lot. I will say Connor McJesus' first year in the league had 48 points. If you think that Connor Bedard is going to do better than Connor McJesus his first year, I think you're crazy. I think he's going to have more assists than he's going to have goals. So I'm going to put him under 70, though. I think it's going to be right around that 50, 60. Good enough. I mean, that's still great for a rookie, if you think about it. But I don't think
that doesn't bode well for the Blackhawks, that's for sure.
Oh, they're going to be really bad.
There's nobody help there. There's no help there on the team. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying under, but not horribly under like you thought I would think. But 70 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, Storky.
Well, I'm going with the over. I'm going to go kind of in between the both of yous. I think he's going to finish with 74 points. That's the number I'm looking at.
I can dig it. Well, sticking with the Bedard theme, who do you guys have winning the Calder? I know there's a plethora. This is a deep Calder race. I mean, you don't have to give me one now, but I'm going to give you mine. Stork, do you have a Calder?
I do. I mean, we got some good young players coming up. Fantilli and Cooley, and of course
Matthew Nyes.
Huh?
Matthew Nyes on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I don't think he's going to rank up in the top 3, but he's going to have a good season. But I don't know if he's going to be turning anybody's heads, really. I got to give it to Bedard, man. I think he's the cream of the crop, but he's got some good competition because Fantilli and Cooley, they're both a couple of good hockey players. So, yeah, I'm going to give Bedard the edge just because of all the... Is that right? Yeah.
I'm coming with one shocker, man.
No, Bedard's going to win the Calder Trophy, bud.
Well, I mean, if I had him at 90 points, you would think Bedard would win the goddamn
You would think so, yeah.
But
so put that glue back in your nose.
The reason the Buffalo Sabres are going to do so well this year is the kid in net. His name's going to be Devin Levi. This guy is going to shock the world. I know he's a small kid. I'm going way off the board here, guys, but that's just because it's a preseason show. Bedard, yes, if I had to put a mortgage on it, but I'm not. I'm going to go Devin Levi, Buffalo Sabres. I think the reason the Buffalo Sabres are going to get in the playoffs and be so good is because they're going to have a goaltender that stops the puck. Devin Levi. Because if there's anybody that beats Bedard at the Calder, it's going to be a goaltender. And there's a couple of goalies. Like we said, the Wolf, he's on a small end as well. I know. Sniffing the glue. There's some other guys. Joe Hofer, as we said. He's a bigger guy. Brother of Ryan Hofer.
Levi has a potential to be a big name, and it's definitely he's got the talent.
And I'm trying to make the show more exciting. If we all go Bedard, that's kind of boring. Nick,
a guy most people aren't even thinking about from the Columbus Blue Jackets, Adam Fantilli. I think as
can't argue with him either.
I mean, you look at the top. What am I? I think that this is the top 10 betting odds. You got Bedard, Hughes, Fantilli, Cooley, Levi, Nyes, Jiricek, Clark, Wright, Carlson, and that's just the top 10. And there's like 30 more. So
Stork. I'm surprised you didn't go with Luke Hughes, but
it could be
Luke a defenseman too. Yeah.
I got one of my hockey teams on my fantasy teams. I've got the Hughes kids. I got them all. I got the only one I don't have is that other kid from Buffalo. But I've got 3 Hughes on my team, and I'm pretty stoked about it.
Rapid fire here, guys. Let's go to the major awards, and go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was just going to say I'm fully prepared to eat crow if Connor Bedard plays, but I will tell you, I don't believe in him yet. He hasn't proven anything yet.
No, he has. He's got 0 points.
I believe in him, and if I'm going to say he has 90 points, I can't believe I'm going against him for the Calder. I mean, I'm eating crow.
You just love goalies.
I know you guys are a lot younger, but do you remember Yashin back in the early 90s?
Yes. Yeah, New York Islander.
He was touted to be the next Wayne Gretzky, and and he was a first-round pick, and what a bum he turned out to be. He couldn't handle the NHL. So that's something to think about.
Just worried.
It could happen again.
Okay. So, rapid fire awards here. The Selke, the best defensive award, guys. Typically, Bergeron always won it, and there's no more Bergeron. There's a lot of guys up and coming. One of them was Couturier, but he's been banged up. Is there somebody out there?
He has to play on the ice first. He's got to be on the ice and play.
I had a player, and I already forgot who I picked.
You're telling me for the top defenseman in the league?
No, the best defensive forward.
Defensive forward. Selke award.
Well, since I'm going with the Kings, I'm going to take Kopitar.
Yeah, I was going to say Anzi.
I'll take Kopitar. That's kind of a boring pick because he's won it before.
Are you writing these down?
Yeah, I am writing every one of them down, guys. But if I'm going to have the Kings going that far, even though it's a regular season award, right? I still think the Kings are going to be top notch. Give me Anze because this guy, he still looks great. I'm taking Kopitar for Selke.
So here is where we absolutely agree. I had him on my fantasy team last year. I mean, he's just phenomenal. There's no question there.
Same. There's some guys on your wild, Nick, that could win that sucker. And
yeah, we're just gonna wait a little bit because I got a shot coming up too.
Storky,
I'm gonna be a homer again. Mitch Marner. Write it down. He's going to win the Selke this year.
I got it. Usually, the young guys can. There's a guy in Tampa, the Cirelli kid. I think he was up for it one year, right? And usually some of those young kids that I know there's plenty of players I'm not thinking of right at the moment, but okay. So we're there. How about Coach of the Year? Adams, the Jack Adams Award. I'm going with another King. And it is Todd McClellan.
Wow.
He's going to get them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Even if it was a regular season award, I got him in second place, and they're going to just like do everything but beat the Oilers in the division. But I think he's going to just be a solid coach. That's my Jack Adams Award winner. Last year it was the Boston guy, Jim Montgomery. Nick, you got one?
Coach of the New Jersey Devils. It's got to be.
Lindsay
Rupp.
That's a good
pick.
Yep.
Lindsay, he was up for it.
I think the big step they're going to make this year is going to kind of seal that deal, kind of like Boston last year. They were a lot better coaches, in my opinion, than Boston's whole team, because, again, I think that something was in the water. They just got to the place they were, and, hey, chew it on to you. But I think that overshadowed a lot of some of those young coaches that came up that were doing pretty good. So,
Storky?
I agree with Nick. I've got Lindsay Rupp as the Coach of the Year this year. I think the Devils are going to. I mean, they made leaps and bounds last year. I think they're going to be even better this year.
All right, let's go to the Vezina. Best goaltending of the year. Man, I'm putting myself on the spot here. Let's see. I'm going with the oh shit, that would make him Calder as well, wouldn't it? If I went with the Carolina kid.
I thought you were saying,
man.
I thought Levi was gonna win it again.
Yeah, that's who it's gonna be.
I was gonna say Levi.
Well, am I allowed to change my Calder to the Carolina kid?
No.
Chekhov?
No.
Okay, shit.
Didn't you already write it down?
It's written down. It's in stone.
Oh man.
So
okay,
it is written. So it is done.
Calder. Whew. Man, Buffalo. Okay, I'll go with Levi for the Vezina. Shit. I got a lot of I'm putting a lot on the line here with that kid. Okay.
Oh boy.
Nick.
So I kind of went back and forth, and it's going to definitely depend on what happens with Marc-Andre Fleury. But Jesper Wallstedt has a great opportunity to not only win the Calder if he's called up enough, and the Vicenza, or I never say it right, the Vicenza. Vezina, Vicenza. That's it. That's a place in Italy. The Vezina. But I think we're going to see a resurgence, and I hate the team, but your boy from Dallas that you are high on left and right, I think is almost a shoe-in, especially if Dallas can move forward into the finals.
Fuck,
Mr.
I should have picked
Ottinger.
him. Can I at least change it to Ottinger?
Nope.
Because I have the Dallas Stars.
Then you're going to be the same as me and Nick, because I've got Ottinger too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep Levi, but
that would be
Buffalo.
Buddy.
Buffalo would be.
I think that glue's permeating in this room.
I don't have Buffalo going past the first round, but
yep.
Okay. Fuck it. I'll be wrong. What about a Lady Bing trophy? Most gentlemanly sport player, least penalty minutes. I'm gonna go with Alex Ovechkin. Man, this guy didn't take many penalties last year. He was almost the candidate last year, Stort. He didn't take. He plays in a lot of games, and he barely takes any penalties, guys.
I refuse. I refuse from my roots to even mention. So go ahead and write whoever you think I should pick in, because I'm not. If you're not in the penalty box, are you really even trying?
Well, not true, but you.
Okay,
I'll tell you who I'm taking.
Mitch Marner.
Jack Hughes.
Jack Hughes. Wasn't he up for it too?
I think New Jersey's going to come home with some trophies this year, just not the Stanley Cup.
Nick's got Matthews, I've got Ovechkin, and Stork's got Jack
Hughes.
Yeah. All right, this is a big one right here. The defenseman of the year, the Norris Trophy winner. Man,
there are a lot of defensemen.
Is Levi going to get it?
No. I'm going to think of somebody on Carolina, and he can also score. I'm going to go Brent Burns.
Oh, my
God. Burns. He's won it before.
Well,
because they love the offensive guys.
Yep.
Yeah, they love the offensive guys.
He's only 48 now or something.
Yeah.
Brent Burns is going to win it because Carolina's going to have a great year.
So I'm going to throw out a name, and you're going to call me a homer, but I want to remind you of this kid's pedigree. Went to the Frozen Four final, lost.
Going Brock Faber.
Then went down to the Wild, played, and how well he played throughout the entire playoffs. I think this kid with a good full year is going to be phenomenal. He's going to line mate with Kalen Addison, and it's going to change a lot of things. It's hard not to pick the likes of Heiskanen or some of these other, top tier defensemen, but I think you're going to be shocked at how good this kid's going to play. So I'm going Brock Faber.
Well, you got the Minnesota Wild going deep, so why not? Storky.
I'm going to go out. This is kind of one of my risky picks, but I think this guy's going to have a big year this year. And that's going to be Adam Fox. I think Fox is going to win the Norris Trophy this year. I think he's going to have a phenomenal storybook year.
That's right. You did have the Rangers making the playoffs. I mean, yeah, any one of those.
I do have the Rangers making the playoffs, and I think Fox will be a big reason why they do.
Oh, and just
boys.
A plug, Tim. You're welcome. I was going to say Cal McCarr, but I
was
it just so
expecting
there's
somebody
not
to
enough.
say it. But Jimmy's hell bent on Levi, so.
No, that was for.
He's going to lose 2 picks, so we'll be at least 1 ahead of him. Even if we could throw a Ford's name in there, and we probably.
By the way, Stork, in your fantasy league, you took Levi ahead of me.
I did.
Just about to grab him.
Oh no, I like Levi. I like the kid.
Yeah.
He's my second string goalie in that league. So.
So here's some glue, man. You're gonna sniff that glue. All right, boys. The last major. No, we're gonna have one more award after this. The MVP of the regular season, the Hart Memorial Trophy. Do you see anybody? I'm gonna go last here. Do you see anybody else besides Connor McDavid taking this? Who wants to go first?
Connor McDavid. Mine's easy. Take McJesus. For 200.
Same old. Well, does Nick have a decision real quick, or I'm gonna go?
I'm very torn. And I'm torn between players that you probably wouldn't expect. I think Connor McJesus is probably the shoe-in, but there's a couple other players that I think need the recognition. Matthew Tkachuk and Jack Hughes. And I think either one of them, if they're able to will their team back to where they were, deserves that trophy. So I think Connor McJesus.
Yeah, it's going to be across the board. I can't go again. It's going to be that's the most boring.
You can't argue it.
One last trophy, the MVP of the Stanley Cup Final, Conn Smythe. I would assume, unless you think the losing team's going to win. I'm a Carolina Hurricane. I have them winning the title. I'm going, since I didn't have him win the Calder, I'll have him winning the Conn Smythe. It's that goaltender, the Petchekov kid. Let me pronounce his name correctly here. I know I'm going to fail my listeners. The Carolina goaltender. This is the guy I probably should have taken the as the Calder, but I'll have him having a great playoff run. How's that? It is the goaltending Russian, not Freddie Anderson. He's Danish. Pyotr Kochetkov. I'll never be able to say this guy's name right, guys. I'm taking him. he's going to be a big reason the Carolina Hurricanes get to the promised land in the playoffs. It's not going to be Freddie Anderson's story.
It's not going to be Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's Carolina's Achilles heel is their net minding.
Go ahead, Stork. Who's your Conn Smythe?
Austin Matthews, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be Austin. If he gets into the finals, Austin will turn it on.
And last but not least,
win the Conn Smythe Trophy. I love it.
Go Colonel Nick Reedy. I would assume it's a Minnesota Wild.
Well, yeah. I want to go with the Russian kid, the Thrill, but I think
the Thrill.
I think it's going to be Flower.
Wow, one last day in the sun. A fourth Stanley Cup.
I think it's going to be
last dance, eh?
Did he win 3 Stanley Cups with the Penguins? Yeah.
Yeah, yes. This will be 4th.
Yeah, this will be the 4th. So Flower.
I got the Flower.
He takes over the goaltending
for the Flower.
He gives everything he's got and more on the ice and ends his career.
Well, gentlemen, long-winded show, but I'm sure, hopefully we didn't leave anything out too much. Just for fun, how many Ovechkin goals do you see Ovi popping in this year?
34. Write that down.
34 for Stork. I'll go even 40.
53.
Wow.
53 for Nick. Nice.
There's nobody else to shoot.
I have that written down. Is there any other things you can think of while we got you here, prediction wise? We'll have a week to come up with anything on the next show. So I'd like to get you guys sometime. I'm off next Monday and Tuesday, but totally on you guys. I'm also off Sunday.
I'm off too, so.
So I know he'll be Storky's ripping open new Tim Hortons cards.
I am. You bet.
Anything I couldn't think of tonight, I'll mention on next week's show, and we'll also predict our league matchups. And I have the series stats all from last year ready to go. I'm excited,
we're going to do that on Tuesday, which is opening night.
I know Nick's probably working. I'm off. Monday, I can't do it. I have a beer league game, but Monday during the day I could. Sunday, I think me and Nick. For me if, we could do it Sunday as well. It doesn't matter.
I'm gone all weekend.
On next Tuesday?
No, Tuesday would be the first time that I'd be able to. I'm gone all weekend.
Let's do it next Tuesday. That's opening night.
Well, we don't want to do it during the games. Nick's probably got to work during the day, I would assume.
But either we can figure this all out offline.
We can figure it out.
Close out the show. Let's get the audience moving. You're starting to drill and be old.
Jimmy has to fill up his glue stick.
Yep. So Stork's sniffing the glue on the Toronto Maple Leafs as predicted. Nick sniffing the glue on the Minnesota Wild. Elmer's glue. He's even rolling in it. And I'm going to sniff the glue on the Carolina Hurricanes, even though I hate this team. But I am sniffing the glue on a lot of other wacky picks. One more time around the roundtable, Nick, anything in particular standing out this year? It's going to be a phenomenal season. Man, the floor is yours.
I say this year is the year that the youngsters start to take over. You'll see across the whole league. I think that these second-year kids are going to start making an impact, and they're going to start pushing some of the older, longer in the tooth, and aging guys out. So this is going to be a very interesting, cool year because it's going to be rebuilding for the entire league, a fresh blood in, and the likes of the great Sidney Crosby, the great 8, and some of these guys, their time is numbered and they know it. So. It's going to be a great season, and I'm stoked for fantasy, and I'll just tell you, Don Cherry is an idiot. Don't listen to him. Don't believe him. And Alex, you better get your lineup ready because the Frozen Norsemen are coming.
grab some brandy there, Don Cherry. Storky, the deputy, his mouth is watering. He's ready for his Toronto Maple Leafs. He has both Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews on his team. Massive homer season.
I can see a picture on a sports card next year of them staring there with their trophies. One has the Selke trophy, one has the Conn Smythe trophy, and right in the middle of them, Ella Stanley Cup. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm seeing. That's the great Kreskin is thinking about it right now.
So boys, I've got all y'all's predictions. I got chicken scratch right now, but I can read my own writing. I will log that in better here as I get more time this week. I really thank you both for joining me on these NHL prediction show. I'm going to get more folks' predictions and I'll log those down. Really appreciate your time tonight, Nick from the great state of Minnesota. Good luck to your Wild, sir. Storky, as always, love you, brother. Good luck to your Leafs. Good luck to your Toronto Blue Jays. Man, I really hope good things for my Washington Capitals. It's also going to be a down year, I think, also for my Seattle Thunderbirds. But, hey, hockey's
just
back.
think about Ovi, man. That's what you got to concentrate on Washington.
Ovi if the Caps are healthy, we'll see. I'll still be rooting for my Washington Capitals, even though I didn't have them in the playoffs. But to be honest, guys, I am very excited about my fantasy hockey team. And I'm sad that this year I don't have the Stork Cup with me. It's with DB Cooper and Mark Raymond. Real quick, before we end the show, I'll change the background real quick. A nod to Mark Raymond. I just made this slide. Congrats to him. 19 names get on that cup, guys. If I can indulge you real quick. Here is the official nameplate. I will present this to him next week. I don't know if you can see it. Those were the teams, players that won it all last year. Is Stork there?
No, he'll be right back.
Oh, he left. Congrats again, 17-6. Mark Raymond, DB Cooper, the 22-23 champions. Captain David Pasternak, Dougie Hamilton, Nazem Kadri, Andrew Kopp, Noah Cates, JT Miller, Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond was on my team for most of the year. Remember, it's the finish line that these names get engraved. Rasmus Sandin, Blake Wheeler, Kirill Kaprizov, Nick. You got him this year. Charlie McAvoy, Dylan Cousins, Jason Robertson, who is returning to DB Cooper, Mikhail Sergachev, Darnell Nurse, Pavel Buchnevich, Linus Allmark, and Jeremy Swayman. It's been a great show, a great roundtable prediction show, gents. I thank you very much. We'll talk to you on episode 3 at some point. And the next time we talk, the season is underway. NHL Face-Off 2023 next week. Enjoy the games. Good luck to your fantasy squads. Badger Bob always said it's a great day for hockey. It's a great day for hockey. Thanks for joining us on our NHL prediction show 2023. I'm the commish, Jimmy Milstead. We out of here.